Angela Rayner, uncomfortably close to power. Let's rewind a bit. Angela Rayner was born in Stockport, and yeah, it's a working-class upbringing that she's proud of. Raised by a single mum, she came up the hard way, like many of us. And you can see the appeal and underdog story. She worked as a care worker and a trade union activist, which always gives you a bit of street cred in Labour circles, right? In 2015, she made her mark in Parliament after winning her seat in Ashton-under-Lyne, an area that, frankly, was desperate for someone who could speak the language of the people. So, off she went, a working-class hero in the making, or at least that's how the story goes. But it wasn't all sweet, was it? See, Rayner has got some baggage, a bit of a reputation for speaking her mind, which can be a blessing and a curse. You get someone who says things other politicians are too scared to, often in a tone that leaves you wondering if you've just been slapped in the face. That rawness could make her popular in some circles, and honestly, sometimes it's a breath of fresh air compared to the usual political muzzling. But with that comes political risk, and a lot of people have got questions about whether she's really up to the task of running the country. Is she too rough around the edges? Too blunt for the top job? Now let's talk about her relationship with Keir Starmer, or as I like to call it, the odd couple of British politics. Rayner's been the deputy leader of the Labour Party under Starmer since 2020. You'd think that, given the seniority, they'd be like political soulmates, right? But here's the thing, it's a bit more complicated than that. In public, they've got the usual political PR-friendly smiles, all the "we're in it together" talk. Starmer, for all his polished, lawyerly manner, isn't exactly a firebrand. Rayner, though, she's got passion and raw honesty that sometimes, well, might just clash with Starmer's more reserved approach. Rumours? Oh yeah, you better believe it. There's been talk of political infighting, of Rayner positioning herself for a potential leadership bid should Starmer stumble. It's a ruthless game, and in politics the knives are always sharpened. But the deeper question, does Rayner actually want to take the top job? Or is she just doing what she's been doing best, taking the mick out of the system, shaking it up from the inside? One thing's for sure, though, if Starmer falls out of favour, you can bet Rayner will be waiting for her moment. Now let's talk about Angela's husband, Mark Rayner. He's not exactly a public figure, but in the world of politics that makes him all the more interesting, doesn't it? Mark's a fireman, a bit more on the quiet side compared to his outspoken wife, but it's in the background where things get a bit murky. Rumours have followed Angela about her family life, and let's just say, it's raised a few eyebrows. Some say that Angela's marriage has been a bit rocky. Some have even whispered about infidelity, nothing concrete, mind you, but enough to raise the eyebrows of those with their ear to the ground. But Rayner, bless her, is not one to let that stuff bother her. She's stubborn, like most northern women, and if she's got a point to prove, she's gonna prove it no matter what's going on at home. Some reckon she's eyeing up the leadership of Labour in a never let a crisis go to waste kind of way. With Starmer's leadership under pressure, she's already being tipped as a potential leader who could appeal to the left wing of the party, much more than Starmer's centrist approach ever did. The traditional working-class voters, the ones Starmer's tried to win back with his "make the Labour Party respectable" routine, might look at Rayner and think, now, there's someone who knows where we're coming from. Rayner's not without controversy. There have been whispers about her involvement with some of Labour's more radical factions, and some in the party have said she's a little too close to certain hard-left activists. Others reckon her ties to the union movement could be a double-edged sword in the current political climate, tough on business, tough on everything really. It's a tricky game to play. She's got the connections, the spirit, and the backing from certain factions of Labour. But can she really lead the party? Will she fall into the leadership seat if Starmer falters? Time will tell, but let me tell you this. If Rayner does find herself in charge, the whole political landscape could shift. She's not the safe candidate that Starmer's been trying to be. She's raw, passionate, and maybe just a bit too unpolished for some. But, as we all know, the British public has a long history of backing someone who breaks the mould. Rayner's interview with Laura Kuenssberg raised concerns about her preparedness for high office. She acknowledged being overly transparent regarding her stay at a Labour donor's New York apartment, a situation that critics argue could suggest a lack of political acumen. Her political acumen was also on display with Andrew Neil. Her clear inability to answer policy questions alarmed many, and her closeness to real power has many worried. So keep an eye on Rayner. She might just be the next Labour leader, but don't expect her to play nice. She'll bring the heat, and she's got the guts to turn this whole thing upside down if she needs to. Angela Rayner's rapid ascent within the Labour Party, culminating in her current role as Deputy Prime Minister, has been marked by a lack of traditional political experience and instances of questionable judgment in public interviews. Whether you like her or not, she's one to watch. And remember folks, politics is all about timing. When the moment's right, she'll be there, ready to pounce. Coupled with Keir Starmer's controversial appointment of a former aide as a baroness, these developments suggest a concerning trend in Labour's leadership choices. The party's recent actions may raise questions about its commitment to meritocracy and transparency, potentially impacting its credibility and public support.